Hello and welcome to Media Literate, the show where two longtime best friends try to sharpen up their media literacy skills by having a long conversation about a new movie in theaters each week. My name is Monica Scott and my co-host is Emily Faye. And boy, oh boy, today we did Disclosure Day. Massive spoiler warning right up front because we really waste no time ripping this movie to shreds. So we're going to talk about all of it. We have really, really strong feelings. So spoiler warning and women having feelings warning, if you're not ready for that. Let's see. Do I have anything else I have to tell you before this? Oh, if you're listening to the audio of this, we would love for you to watch the YouTube channel. I tried a new lighting thing today, so feel free to let me know if I look bright orange. I think that's it for right now. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to Disclosure Day.
Click, 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 gargle, gargle, alien noises.
And what we're disclosing is that we hated this movie.
Boy, oh boy, this was a tough hang.
Didn't even hate it in a fun way.
Yeah, I didn't hate it in a fun way. We both had a really hard time with this movie. I'm gonna do my best, listeners, to not go on a crazy political rant, but I do think some thoughts will be incoming.
I mean, that's what this movie is like trying to like. It's trying to say something. I just don't think it's successful. It's trying to say a lot of things, honestly.
Yes. It's trying to say, dare I say, far too many things. So, okay. My thesis of my thoughts of this movie are that this movie has the worldview of a boomer who achieved all their dreams. And so he thinks that authority has a humanity that can be appealed to and that works, which we've learned kind of over and over again that doesn't work.
It's like that's actually never happened, not once.
We've called our senators so many times. They don't care what we have to say. Also that if you just tell everybody the truth, that is what causes change. And that's something that's sort of we have watched atrocities on our phones for 10 years straight at this point, and doesn't matter. Nothing happens. Nobody makes any changes.
It feels absolutely insane that kind of the core premise of this movie is well, if you show people, if people see this on screens, that will shift something inside of them, when it's that's literally, that actually doesn't happen.
Yeah. And, I think something that so we record, generally on Sundays, right? So we usually have a couple of days of whatever the discourse cycle is that starts with a movie. We absorb a little bit of it. I have been completely irritated by the discourse around this movie that is, if you didn't like it, you're too cynical to get it.
Yeah. And it's you don't like that someone could be optimistic. Your only criticism is cynicism. And it's well, no and yes, but it's does it earn the optimism? No.
Yeah, I think that's what's frustrating. And also I listen, if I use the example of us two, right? We I think could be called cynical sometimes, but the truth is we are not immune to hope core. Otherwise, we wouldn't have liked Project Hail Mary, right?
Yeah.
It's not we can't achieve hopefulness, but I really need a story to live in the reality I live in if it's set in the reality I live in, which it is.
Yeah, we're not unreachable. It's not we just enjoy being oh, the world is an evil place and nothing can be done. But it's just that sorry, we're not stupid. Sorry, we're not stupid.
Yeah, and you know, I don't think Steven Spielberg is stupid, but I do think that he is an older gentleman who, again, achieved all his dreams. So he believes in the authority figures and the gatekeepers that have like that if he just appealed to the right ones and he got his dreams to come true. And that is not the reality for basically everyone else. And he is, you know, he's seeing the same images on the phone that we are, right? And his reaction to it is like, if everyone could just understand each other and empathize, we would have peace, or whatever it is he's like appealing to. And it just is like, you know, using aliens as a stand-in for like video of atrocity was so, it just was like, yeah, but we don't, I mean, they release stuff like this all the time at this point. It's not like, about aliens, but nothing changes.
It's so weird because it's like, it doesn't work. It doesn't even seem to work on him because like he is a Zionist. Like it doesn't even work when it's humans. So why does he think it would work when it's aliens?
That's interesting. I didn't know that about him, but yeah, it's like, yeah. I'm like almost dumbfounded by how frustrated I found this movie, because I find the naiveness dangerous. Like thinking you can appeal to the humanity of a violent oppressor gets people killed, and has this year.
It's just such an odd movie because it's been like I have felt
we are both so flustered by how frustrated we are.
I guess it's just like I've literally been in like sort of an irritated, generally agitated mood since seeing this movie, and I think it's the movie's fault. Like it's been like a pebble in my shoe, and not in a way where it's like, oh, maybe that means it was actually good because there's like ideas I'm rolling around in my mind, but just where I'm just generally like a little irritated all the time. So I'm hating it more as the days pass. And yeah, I think he's just super out of touch, which I think you don't have to be in touch for a lot of movies. Like there's so many movies he could make where like I don't think you have to be in touch with the current realistic state of the world to make Indiana Jones. I fucking love Indiana Jones. And totally. I loved West Side Story a few years ago. Like absolutely fucking loved it. I think it's a masterpiece. But something about him trying to say something about like, the current state of humanity, I'm just like, this is bad. And also, okay, aside from all that, as a movie, I didn't like it. Like just as a movie.
Yeah.
I was not entertained. I didn't feel anything. I've been shocked by people saying they were moved by it because like I'm dumbfounded as to what could have even moved someone. I didn't think, I just like, you know how usually I'm very like, oh my God, I hate when someone is just like fidgeting nonstop next to me in a movie theater. In this movie, I was the fidgeter.
Well, luckily you had almost 3 hours of fidgeting to do.
Luckily it was like recliner seats, so I wasn't like touching anyone, but I was just like fucking moving my body, like my legs. I was getting fucking restless leg syndrome because I was just like, I just need this to be over.
Yeah, you're making me realize I was doing that too, and I didn't even notice that that's probably why. So I did cry during the disclosure scene, the climactic disclosure scene in the end of the movie.
The titular disclosure day.
Yes, but not for what I believe was his intent. Because one, I did find that that journalist who is an actor now that played the like news anchor, I did find her performance quite good. Like I was like, you know, this is like believable. She was
good.
And good.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even that. It was that they depict like that they've interrupted the news broadcast, and they go in and they get to do this disclosure, and they're uploading the videos, and everyone around the world is having this like completely focused in on a news story, and everyone's feeling emotional about it, and the powers that were trying to stop this just sat down and let it happen because they realized that something, I don't know, we're never really told what he realized that makes him sit down and not continue to stop them.
Yeah.
But all of this is happening, and I'm sitting there thinking, this isn't the fucking world I live in. Like,
no.
This isn't what happens. One, I don't even know what news network I would trust information from at this point. Like, talking about television news, I genuinely don't have one.
Yeah, the most unrealistic part of this is that, like, cable news has some sort of like impact and people are watching it live.
Well, and this was not to be a news nerd. This was network. This was NBC News. Important distinction, but also not anymore. But I mean, I am very passionate about journalism. I worked at NPR for a long time. I have specific journalists I follow very closely, and I care about all this stuff. And I was watching this thinking, this is just not what happens. Nobody gives a shit. I don't trust any television news sources anymore. There's no place where this would be some emotional thing, and then people in the world wouldn't even believe it. They'd all think it's AI. Like,
yeah.
It just was like, there's just like everything about this was like, this just isn't how the world works, and it's completely irritating to be presented this and then shamed for not being like hopeful and open-hearted towards it. And it's like, this isn't in reality with me.
I guess I'm also not even sure what reaction everyone was necessarily supposed to be having. Like,
yeah,
I mean
empathy, I think,
but like,
question mark.
I'm just kind of like, but what, like, what about this would make, unless it's the alien brain control, which is like a whole nother thing that we'll get to. Like, I don't understand why everyone's reaction to this would immediately be to be empathetic instead of like, oh my God, there's alien, like. And also, I guess in this, in our world, I think this exists in a world where the biggest thing the biggest secret the government could possibly disclose would be aliens and the real existence of aliens having come to Earth. Whereas, like, literally, I do think we're living in an era where it's like, that would be big news, but like, they're acting like it is the only earth-shattering secret that a government could possibly disclose. And it's like, I think there's way crazier things that are like actually happening. And in fact, people would probably be like, okay, that is crazy, but that's like just a distraction.
Right.
From whatever, you know?
I mean, yeah, I think that it begs the comparison to Epstein and the Epstein story, and the fact that like, this is the disclosure that keeps coming up currently. And even that is like, they're still like obfuscating and lying to us about it. And it's completely demoralizing.
And it's just like, what impact is it actually having? Oh, none? Cool. Like, it's
like no one's held accountable for anything. So it's hard for me to like enjoy a movie where it's like, oh, the guy who runs Palantir just sits down and lets you get away with whatever.
And then, okay, so like, I did think love Emily Blunt. I thought she was really great in it. I thought Colin Firth was not that great in it.
I found him quite scary. I did find him
I don't know.
I just think you don't respect British people.
I respect Hugh Grant being really evil in Paddington.
Okay.
Too. Okay. He's so good in that. And Josh O'Connor, I love Josh O'Connor. I think he is such a good actor. Yeah. I think he is so, so wonderful. Didn't think he was that great in this, but I think that might have been the script. I think it might have just been the lines he was having to say were so fucking bad.
I mean, it's tough. It's tough. The lines he was having to say of like, oh, they hired me right after I was in federal prison.
Like,
just like were you a nun? I don't know. It was just a lot of it was like, he was also styled to me to look like one of the Spielberg like boys, like Elliot or like, you know what I mean? Like,
sure.
They had him like walking around like making a little boy
stuff.
face, holding onto a backpack is like, okay, so this is supposed to evoke. I mean, I think a good Spielberg cheat code in the past has been like children, and the story is. It pulls on your emotions because of children. And I think Josh O'Connor can evoke those feelings because he has a very boyish expression and like innocence in his face.
Yeah.
And yet I was like, this is foolish.
Yeah, no, absolutely love him. Think he is like one of the greatest actors, young actors working right now.
Yeah.
Even he could not save that character. Eve Hewson's character, I was just like, what is this character? What is her storyline? I hate this. I thought that and their relationship was just like so half-baked and weird. I did not care about the Catholic stuff.
No, and I didn't even really understand what I was supposed to think about it, to be honest. Like what the text of the movie wanted me to think about it, I don't really understand, and I'm perfectly willing to say that. I do think I think everyone's performance was good. I can't think of a single performance that I thought was bad. I just think, again, her character was like not written in a way that was interesting at all. But all the stuff she had to do with like the body snatching alien technology stuff, I was like, this is like cool. I think it's like a good performance, and that for me, that was the only stuff that like kind of worked, like where and even worked feels strong. It like held my attention.
And I also know that even us using the language like I didn't understand blah blah blah, there are going to be people, because I've already seen this online, being like, oh, you just didn't get it, you didn't whatever. And I'm like, everything that people are taking from this movie is like not something that I even know that the movie intends. Or it's like, if someone is getting these things from the movie, it's because they're elaborating on it in their own mind. But I don't think the movie like earns any of the like deep things people are taking from it. Like, okay, for example, talking about kids, alien abductions are very clearly rape coded. That's always been like a thing. Just like the probing and the like, you know, everything like that.
That's simply not something that I've ever thought until you said it.
I guess I just think alien abductions are often very like coded in that way. And it's hard to make it not like that. And then there's all the stuff with, you know, it seems pretty explicit. He's trying to do this thing where it's like, it's like they both have this trauma from when they're 10 that they've blocked out and don't want to revisit, and it changed their person, you know, all that stuff. It's very like, okay, you're like, okay, this seems very like they were.
Do you feel like like Spielberg is trying to say that is what the trauma is, or like that's what his coding is?
Yes, just because like, I mean, how could you be like having these characters reacting to a childhood trauma where they were like abducted and something was done to them in this way and not make that connection, right?
It just wasn't. That just isn't to me. And I think part of why I think this is because I felt that the depiction of the aliens in this movie was intended to be purely like positive, that it was intended to be like, these are the others, these are the misunderstood others, and we are the bad guy, and if only we could just listen, we would, you know. So like that just doesn't fit in that narrative to me.
Well,
like,
I agree with you, and that's why I think it's odd and doesn't work. is because to me, all that stuff, and then him being like, don't go with them, they're not what they say, you know, like they are having these very visceral reactions, and then something is done to them as children without their consent, but then it is ultimately like presented as like a good thing. And
okay, so I actually see it as like a, and this is just something that's occurring to me right now as you're talking, is it a parallel for vaccines?
Oh my god.
The aliens give them a gift and he thinks it's bad and everyone thinks it's bad. I don't mean to lob a softball to the crazies, but that's a read you could have.
I don't think so, but I bet there is someone out there with that read, because I think that any movie, someone will read it like that out there in the world.
Our one crazy our listener is like doing a fist in the air out of excitement. Because I'm like, idea.
it is creepy when something shows up in her room and then leads her away to this house and then does something to her that then becomes a core trauma, and he's there too, and then it's whatever. But yeah, then it is presented as like, no, but this was good and necessary, and I'm like, okay, well then that makes it all very strange.
Sorry, but and what they do to them gives them autism. Puts them on the spectrum somewhere.
Damn, you're right. Okay, I did also think it was funny that like the like powers they got, it's like boy gets math, girl gets feelings. Obviously boy gets math, girl gets feelings.
Wow, I didn't even notice that, but yeah, what the fuck?
I did think that was funny.
Emily Blunt was doing like an incredible like Daffy Dame kind of like lady.
Yeah.
Where she's like, you know, head in the clouds, goofball. I really loved that performance. He was annoying intentionally as a character, but Wyatt Russell's like boyfriend character, they had some truly funny moments in the movie that I was like welcoming. Yeah, when it's just like, this movie is tedious. You know, I'm having to like watch all this. Like it was frustrating to have that as the direct parallel to God, I forget Josh O'Connor's character's name, but Josh O'Connor and
me
his
too.
It's Keller, I think. Dr. Keller was his name. Something Keller. Mr. Scientist.
I think Josh O'Connor's name was Keller, and then and then Coleman
Jane
Domingo was
the girlfriend.
Hugh.
Yes. God, do you guys love listening to this part where we're trying to remember character names? But the having Emily Blunt character with her boyfriend, and their scenes are kind of like, they at least feel alive. They feel like alive people that are. It feels like a relationship that is not great, but it exists. And then you like flash to Josh O'Connor and his girlfriend, and they barely seem like they have met. Like,
I know. And it's so weird because there's these things where it's like, you know, it's like, and no one understood me until I met Jane, but it's like, why? I don't understand what about her and you like connect. Like, you have no chemistry. You don't seem to really even talk. Like, I don't understand why they're a couple.
You don't know anything about each other at all. You know nothing about each other.
No, that's so true, because especially when he's like, you were a nun, and she's like, it was a long time ago. 3 years. And it's like, bitch, you are like in your mid 30s. You were trying to become a nun at like 32, and like somehow that never came up. That's crazy, trying to become a nun at like 32. That's like a really significant thing about your personality.
That's like, yeah, that's something, that's like a major life event and then change that you made. Yeah, it was just written so poorly, their characters. Like, because then those are also the characters that are put in the most danger really quickly. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I I don't care. Who are these people? Like, and I guess I generally want him to escape, but I don't know why.
Right, because it's like, I'm like, look, at least with him, I'm like, okay, you have some sort of mission. With her, I'm like, why didn't you just leave her somewhere? Like, sorry,
like, why
but
didn't she stay at the convent?
that character, like, I thought her character sucked absolute ass. Like,
because also, like, when she gets in the car after he's like, okay, you stay at the convent and I'm leaving, and she gets in the car and she's like, she says some plucky bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, this is actually like incredibly frustrating. He's obviously in a life or death. You were just kidnapped, by the way.
Right.
Does that not affect you at all?
There's kind of nothing about you that seems like it's going to be helpful. No offense. Her only purpose in this narrative is like to be the vessel through which the movie has the conversation about like, how do aliens reconcile with religion? And I'm like, I don't know. That's not something I've ever really wondered, nor do I care about. And Steven Spielberg, I didn't know you were this interested in like Catholicism as a fucking big Jew. Like, it's just like how her first
take it easy.
her first, I'm Jewish, to be clear.
Yeah, you need to disclose that.
The fact that her first reaction when he shows her that there is proof of aliens, her first question is, but people can't handle that because then they won't believe in God anymore because they'll immediately see these as the divine beings. I'm like, one, why do you think everyone will immediately see these creatures as divine beings? You don't know anything about them yet. You don't know that they have this empathy power or whatever, Yeah. Two, okay, that seems fine if people don't believe in God anymore. That's been
like,
God causes a lot of issues.
I mean, personally, yes, I agree. Character-wise, I get why she would think that way, but it's like she just is done no justice by this script at all. And I think she's like a totally capable actor that was given some of the dumbest lines I've ever heard anyone have to say.
I do like her in other stuff. I found this character so annoying.
Frustrating. And that whole plot line, Josh O'Connor's too, is like written so poorly. And I would love to be pedantic for a few minutes and talk about the whole like chase sequence farmhouse stuff. So listen, I enjoy the way Spielberg swings a camera around is cool, and I like it. It's like the only piece of Spielberg nostalgia that I'm like in the bag for, that I'm like, cool, this is fun. And like, not to sound like a complete idiot, but I mean, my husband Alex hated this movie even more than I did, and I was like, well, I did like when the car drive through the building.
I also liked when the car drive through the building.
I think that part was cool. But outside of that, there's like this sequence where he's like approaching the house, and it's been pointed out that it's like, hey, they would have fucking seen this guy like immediately. He's standing, he's hiding against an open fence.
No, I know. When they show how close the agents are, it's like, oh, just none of them are looking in another direction.
And they're uphill from him. So it's like, yeah, there he is. And again, this company, West Tech or something is what it's called. Wex Tech. I don't remember the name of the evil company, but this company is clearly supposed to be some kind of like amalgamation of like Palantir meets Raytheon, like meets other Department of Defense contractors that are like the most evil shit on the planet.
Okay, wait, can I say a really funny quick thing?
Yes.
Okay, one time I went on like a Hinge date with a guy, and we went on like 3 dates, but I didn't really like him. And I have a tendency to do that. And he worked in like city planning now, but he had worked for like the Department of Defense for like 5 years. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah. And then I quit once I realized how evil they were. because he didn't know they were evil for 5 years. So, it's really our best and brightest working for
Man.
the DOD. He didn't realize that they were evil for 5 years.
I mean, this is going to send me into a different tangent. And I'm going on it. So I think that I think that's why I was so agitated. I'm so agitated by this movie because it's like 9/11. Sorry to bring it all back. 9/11 happened when I was 9/11 happened when I was a senior in high school. And so I graduated into a world where the curtain had fallen on American brutality and cruelty across the world, right? Like post 9/11, that is the moment I feel like where the innocence truly was lost for like anyone paying attention. Like you really were like, oh, we're the bad guys everywhere. And we don't deserve these bad things, but I understand how we end up getting them.
Yeah.
And so like this movie seems to not see that at all. And it just is short circuiting my brain. But anyway, that made me think of 9/11. Sorry. Sorry, like everything does. My entire adult life has been in a post 9/11 world. That's how I think. But so yeah, there's this like sequence where they're showing this shit, and it's like this like Palantir meets Raytheon, and it's like they have a security force that they are clearly allowed to intervene with civilian life however they see fit. They're shooting this guy in the head 1 second into this pursuit. There's no world where they're like, oh no, the car. Like they're like chasing the car. And I think something that Spielberg like never developed a skill to do in his directing is to plausibly occupy the brutes, the bad guys, the henchmen. So they're just like standing around. And there's like multiple scenes in this sequence, in this like kind of fun action sequence where it's like, yeah, but why are they just standing there and looking at him?
Totally.
I don't get it. It would have been so easy to occupy them in some way. And it just was like, it's almost like he thinks we're stupid. He thinks we're stupid and he won't have this attention to detail. And it's pissing me off.
I just think it's like, it's all these things that are very Spielberg things that work so well in like, Indiana Jones and movies like that. But when you put it in just our actual current world, it becomes very stupid feeling. And like, okay, then we bring in like the glow sticks. And
is this what you're calling the little rock, the magical
the
rock?
devices? And that just brings the stupidity level up to like a fucking 10 immediately, because it's really never established like what they do, what they can do, what they are planning on doing with them. It just seems like every single time the script doesn't know what to do, it's like, and then the glow sticks can do this, actually. It's like, okay,
So, I agree, except that as someone who has watched like 10 seasons of Doctor Who...
Nerd alert!
I'm sorry, I have. I will say he has a device. So in Doctor Who, there's like a few like, I mean, and Doctor Who is like the most scotch taped together type of sci-fi thing on Earth, right? Like, but it has a few like visible totems of the character. And his like little weapon is called a sonic screwdriver, and it just looks like a little wand. And it is essentially the same thing. It just does anything that the script needs it to do in that moment. And that is That is all that happens. So at least I had been primed to accept this type of device in a sci-fi. I don't think it's good, but I was like, yeah, he's banking on the nerds being like, yeah, and of course. Sometimes there's just a device that does everything that you need it to do.
Yeah. I guess I'm like, look, I accepted it. I was just like, okay, whatever. But I do just think it was silly for a movie that doesn't think it's silly. You know,
the movie thinks it's incredibly serious, and it doesn't take seriously any of the stuff that you need it to. Like, he's like, oh, and nobody's gonna care. Like, I really do think they think we're stupid. Like,
yeah,
oh, nobody's gonna notice that the henchmen are just standing there. Nobody's gonna notice that, like, there's no thought put into any of this stuff that this thing can do and why it can do it, and it's fine.
Yeah, and it's like, okay. The whole premise is like the evil people are like, we can't disclose this because of the effect it'll have on everyone. Okay, what do you think will happen? They never explain that. I would at least like to know their motivation, the evil guys.
Yeah, like, and it's so obvious that it's like in the real world, they prefer control, and they want to use this to monetize anything they possibly can. Say that. You need to say that like, in the movie. You need to make that plain.
Their motivations are too vague for it being the entire premise. And then, honestly, the whole thing is leading up to this disclosure, right? What does happen after? I'm way more interested in like, okay, yeah, if you're saying that the effects are going to be like earth-shattering for some reason, going to completely like change humanity and the world as a whole, that's so much more interesting than them getting to a news station. Like, look, and the car in the house, that was a moment where you're like, yeah, Spielberg. And then the train was very like,
the train was really exhilarating.
And then they had great chemistry. Josh O'Connor and Emily Blunt. He had zero chemistry with Eve Hewson, but Bono's daughter.
The love of his life.
The love of his life, who we would risk it all for. I mean, the scene in the train where she's having the panic attack and he puts his big body around her, you know.
Horny.
Who among us doesn't
a horny moment
doesn't want Josh O'Connor to just weighted blanket us? But
I mean, it was also like a beautiful. It's just so funny. That is a real like humanity scene that was like moving to me and like good.
And she was very good in that scene, having her panic attack.
Really belong in this movie? I don't know, because it's like okay. I don't know.
And then, her having
irritated
these
by this movie
empathy powers. It's so strange how then empathy in this movie means, yeah, I can read your mind and control you by looking in your eyes.
But that wasn't quite what was happening.
In some parts, I don't know. I just thought it was so like when she like turned into everyone's loved ones and then they just went like slack-jawed and stepped out of the way.
Yeah, but she was turning into loved ones that were like, there was something complicated.
Yeah.
About, and then when she didn't do that and she was just like, she could just see your innermost present fear or something, or not fear, but like concern, the thing that has you stressed, and she would be like, oh, here's the solution.
Yeah, I just thought it was a very odd version of empathy.
I mean, I do think it's like an old man's version of how empathy exists within people.
Because I think it's a little I think it's a little scary that someone or some creature can just get inside your brain and history and dig around and take what they want and then use it to manipulate you, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah, it gave her narcissism. It gave her a personality disorder.
I also just like, I kind of wish we'd known more about the aliens.
Yeah, I think as we're like feeling around the different beats of the story and like talking about them, it's really making me realize like what I wish this movie was about was like what happens after Disclosure Day. Like actually the lead up to Disclosure was not that interesting.
No.
And wasn't really even that well depicted, in my opinion, which is a bummer because it is the entire movie. The disclosure is like 5 minutes in the end.
If we don't know what happens after, I'm kind of like, then why do we care about the journey to get there? Because I don't know what the fallout is or the impact. Like, no, the movie, I think with alien movies, like, I want to see how then the aliens and the humans like interact, or like why are the aliens even coming to Earth? Why are they crashing all the time? Are they really bad drivers? Like what is their goal? What are they going to do now? What are people going to do now? How are people going to think of the aliens? Like,
yeah. I also think like in terms of, it's like this movie has two purposes, I think, from Spielberg's perspective. One is that he is desperately trying to get out all these messages all in one movie, and it's like the worst version of something he's ever done.
Yeah.
And the other purpose that I think this movie serves is, man, I never got to shoot a spaceship where it goes like this and then floats up. And damn, it would have been cool to shoot like alien on the ground and then like soldiers are trying to help it. It's like, this is like, it became in the end a like fucking TikTok feed of just like the things he as a filmmaker wanted to depict of aliens. And cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm glad you had fun.
And it's like him being an old man. It's like, okay, Indiana Jones, Dial of Destiny, which I actually liked. There is some interesting stuff there about like, yeah, like an old man sort of reckoning with like what's left. What can he still do? That is something that I do feel very much came from his own feelings, but it worked because that is an experience that he then could apply to Indiana Jones. And like Steven Spielberg does know what it's like to be an old man who's done a bunch of cool shit, and it's like, now what? But yeah. It is also funny how mean this episode is after our He-Man episode where we were very whimsical and open-hearted.
I think that just proves that we can do that, but this wasn't good. Like, what would people, I'm dying to know, what would people be saying about this movie if it was made by a man named David Jones? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't think anyone would be giving this the time of day that they're giving it.
Totally. I think that this is the movie that makes us evil, and that's okay. God, what was I? Oh yeah. Also, everything about this movie does not feel like a 2026 movie, down to the name. It feels like a movie from 2003 that was like big blockbuster I've heard of but have never watched because I know it's not like my type of movie, you know?
Yeah.
But then it's almost so strange to see it with, I don't know, it shouldn't have the crispness of 2026 cameras or something. Like, it's like
that's really funny. I do also want to say, like, do you know, were you following any of the like marketing rollout leading up to this movie?
Yes, I know that some people thought, and I'm sure this was planted by the PR firm, but there were rumors that this movie was to prep us for the government actually disclosing alien stuff.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't even see that. But
didn't
I
they kind of do that already and no one cared?
I mean, I think they did drop a third disclosure
Right.
this way. It's just that the disclosures are never anything. It's like, oh, there was a report of this, but it was mostly weather balloons. Like every time. It's like, oh, there was a report of this, but it was military stuff that like it's not transponded. So like people who track like airplanes never know when it's a military one. Anyway, but the rollout of like the marketing rollout of this movie and like the launch stuff, like especially around South by Southwest or like when Spielberg went and like did like interviews about it, it was all like Spielberg legacy stuff. I think this is why this movie feels really frustrating, because I haven't had a strong reaction to any Spielberg releases I didn't like before. It's just that in the rollout of this, they were the studio was evoking his legacy and we are so back, he is so back, like the history of Spielberg, and isn't it so cool? And then they didn't really do early screenings for press, like and the review embargo I don't think went up until like right before it came out.
And that's never good
it's like that is never good. So it's like, I don't know what the studio thought of this, but I think seems like someone maybe had an inkling that like it was going to be polarizing at the very least. And I don't know, I've been thinking a lot about like with Spielberg, you know, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm not really in the bag for Spielberg. I don't like love his movies automatically, or they're not my relationship to Spielberg is often like my relationship to the NFL or something, where it's like, man, people seem really excited and are having a lot of fun and I don't get it. I can like count on one hand, like I like Jurassic Park, I like Catch Me If You Can, I saw Jaws and it's fine. But it like I didn't see it in a time where it would have been meaningful to me, or it wasn't presented in a way where it was meaningful to me. I just I don't know, he makes stuff that's so foundational for like a certain group of people, and if you're not in that group and you maybe have like a question about if this was good or not, it feels like you're not allowed to ask.
Yeah. But this one is so polarizing, where people are either like loving it or hating it, and they're being like, if you hated it, it's because you're cynical. But I think also people ahead of this movie were like, it's a Spielberg alien movie, like what could go wrong? This man, like, he fucking loves aliens. Honestly, probably the reason the Eve Hewson character, and he probably thought it was more relatable that she immediately is like, oh no, because what about God? Because people are going to immediately think of them as divine beings. And it's like, it's because Spielberg thinks of them as divine beings. He's obsessed with aliens. Like, so Indiana Jones, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Those aliens.
Your favorite movie.
My favorite movie. I did see it like 7 times in theaters when I was in middle school, because I'd never seen an Indiana Jones movie before. And then we went on like a 7th grade field trip to see Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And I was like, I'm obsessed with this. Oh my God. And so then, because it was in theaters, I saw it like 7 more times in theaters. And then, of course, I watched the other Indiana Jones movies. And I, of course, at the time did not know that everyone hated it and thought it was total dog shit. And so because that was my first exposure to Indiana Jones, and like any Indiana Jones is like good, you know? I have a real soft spot for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And those aliens are like, their whole thing is like, they have all the knowledge in the universe. So they're also like, it's like, oh my God, these aliens are so good. He's like, oh, these aliens are so good. And then
it's like, they're so nice and they know everything. They're good.
And they're so good. And then Cate Blanchett, she wants it, but it's too much. So she explodes because she's not good.
You got to be one of the only people who can recount on call.
I think I can recount the entire thing beat by beat, like truly. I
can vaguely picture the aliens, and I can kind of picture Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah,
that's kind of all that stuck with me about that movie.
God, his name, what's his name? It's like Dog or something. His name's like Dog in it. Something like that. Mutt. His name's Mutt.
Oh, great.
Maybe?
Great.
That could be wrong as well. It's a dog. It's a word for dog. But yeah, it's like he loves aliens so much. So it's like I think that he maybe forgets he needs to explain more about the aliens. Because he's thinking about aliens so much, and he has such a clear vision of what aliens are in his brain that he's forgetting that not everyone immediately is like, oh yeah, these aliens are this and that and this and that and that. Because he probably has like 47 pages on every detail about these aliens just in his mind from just thinking about it. And he forgot to tell us, the viewer.
Definitely. I also, that made me think that like, I'm so sorry, boomers. But I'm gonna hit you one more time, okay? Just brace yourself. I know you guys don't like it. It's so boomer of him to be so desperate for an authority figure that he wants aliens to be daddy that knows everything. That's every time he makes aliens, it's like, and they know everything in the universe, and they're here to help.
And they are going to take over, and it's all going to be good. And
it's just like, nobody is coming to help.
Yeah, totally.
Get over it. We can't do this anymore.
No,
we
he's
can't
like, you
act
see?
Like someone's coming.
The aliens come, then we let them just take over and take control, and then no more war, and it's all good. And it's that simple. You guys, it's that simple.
It's just so, it's like, because it's an understanding of reality that is like from a different time. I think that's why I think about 9/11 and when I think about it. Because it's like anyone who is like around my age, like it's like a core trauma I think of millennials, older millennials, that like we were raised by people who believed in that type of world and were told that that's what the world is like, and then graduated into the loss of innocence and the like extremely painful 20-year reveal that is not what the world is like, and has never been like. And it's like, so it's like, I think I will just always have trouble with like boomer filmmakers who have there are no roadblocks for him. There's no limitations. Limitations make better art.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if there were any limitations on him, he would have problem solved some of these fucking issues.
True.
But everyone was like, green light, go for it, man. You're, no one can tell you what to do. You're the guy.
I also think it's interesting how much this doesn't reckon with, and the fact that like, I mean, I say this as if it's not good. The Hunger Games is good. We'll probably do Sunrise on the Reaping later this year. But the fact that like the Hunger Games deals with the idea so much better than like this movie of the concept of anybody seeking power is somebody to be feared and stopped, even if they are claiming to be benevolent and they're coming to fix everything. Like anybody who is looking to have power is bad, and that must be stopped. The fact that this doesn't address that at all, like, I don't know. Like, why do the aliens want to fix everything on Earth? Like, how I don't know. Maybe it is for good reasons, but do we know that? Like, also, why do you think the alien in the end was big and all the other ones were so little?
Oh my God, that bugged me so much. Like why? How come the size juxtaposition is wrong in this movie? Nobody thought about this?
It was very clear that the other ones were so little. We saw them walking along with people. We saw them next to a bunch of people, and they were so little. And then the one at the end is so big.
It's like, were they babies? Were they torturing the babies? Is that what was happening?
And also, if they were babies, no wonder they kept crashing. Why are the babies driving the ships? Why aren't the big guys driving the ships? That's a flawed system. Are they dumb? Are the aliens stupid?
I do also, it's also kind of a, okay, brace yourself, boomers. It's a boomer thing that, like, there's an assumed altruism on both sides. They assume that the aliens are helpful and good. They assume that Palantir or West Tech, whatever it was called in this, is only doing this because they think it's best for humanity. Like, that's not why any of these companies are doing this. No. And so it's like the assumption that that's altruistic and that it's just a misunderstanding of how it should work. And if they just listen, it's good. It's like, sorry. I'm sorry. This is the most Pollyanna shit on earth. I kind of want to, like, wrap it up because I feel evil being mean for a full hour about this movie. This movie made me catastrophically depressed. Like, bad
me too.
Depressed.
And then, like, the video, I mean, it is funny that Nixon is in this movie. Like, that is a funny, weird thing. But, like, they are doing the things to the aliens that they are doing to E.T. and E.T. And but it's like, in E.T., if you had asked E.T. Steven Spielberg, do you think if you showed everyone a video of E.T. getting tortured, like, do you think everyone would be upset? I think that either he would have said, just because that was, like, a much younger, less like deified Steven Spielberg, he would have either said no, because most people would be like, oh, what is that thing? Like, yeah, what is it? Figure out what it is. Like, we don't have any feelings for that alien. I feel like the movie is maybe more realistic about that. But also, or he would have said yes, but that would be at least without the evidence at that point of how many atrocities we're seeing daily and no one is reacting.
Yeah, you're so right about that.
And then I think that a lot of people, I think something that to me was a clear misinterpretation by a lot of people is a lot of people seem to think that when she says listen in the end and then it cuts off, the alien was saying that the thing that everyone needed to hear was like, listen to each other. But, like, it was clearly her saying, like, listen, and then going to say the thing, right? That would, like, change everything.
Yes, but it was supposed to be poignant that it cuts off there.
But even then I'm like, okay, what do we know about these aliens that, like, everyone should just be blindly following them? Hey, I'm open to it, but, like, I would like to know a little bit about our new supreme overlord empathy aliens first, you know?
Yeah. I mean, again, it's just, like, so absurd that, like, the dream that this movie is presenting that we just need to find, like, a new, better authority figure and not just, like...
And it's like, I don't know. Is the idea that their very presence is going to imbue every human being with empathy? Is that what's supposed to be happening?
He simply did not think this far, I don't think. I really don't. I think that he's like, it's just like, we just need to listen to each other. And I wish I met an alien. Those are the two thoughts.
He wants to meet an alien. I do hope that for him. I want him to meet an alien.
I also want to say he seems like the nicest man on earth, and I feel bad. Like, I get that he's like, well, I didn't know about the Israel opinions, but the every interview with him, he's like so supportive of other filmmakers, so like warm and kind to people, and I do think he's helped a lot of people, and I think he's like important to so many people, and I like just want to hold that in my hand before we go.
Yes. Like, I think that the Pollyanna attitude is real and true.
Yeah.
I just think it's I just don't I think that means maybe he's not equipped to be speaking on our current world.
Yeah, and like he's allowed to. And
sure.
He did, and I don't like it.
I don't like it. Also,
I'm allowed to not like it.
How were the CGI animals that bad?
Oh my god, they look like shit.
Like, that
so
was
bad.
Crazy. Like, how in this big a budget of a movie, how were they that bad?
I figured that had to be a choice, but I don't know what the choice is.
It was
like, I don't
really
know if the choice
distracting.
Is the choice like that this is a child's memory and that's why they look like that, or like that this is an alien projection, so that's
then
why?
I thought,
but
it seemed to be like I thought that they were saying that the aliens were able to shapeshift into these animals, which then I was confused because I'm like, okay, so there are some just like loose aliens. Why aren't they helping them more? Or like, if they're so powerful, why aren't they just like doing what they want to do? Why do they need Emily Blunt to get on Kansas City, Missouri news? And I guess they needed a translator for the
for the math language.
Yeah. And also,
okay, no one likes to hear that.
Well, guess what? Listen, you need to hear it.
Uh-oh.
But look, nothing made sense, and not in a way where we're like looking for plot holes or whatever. It's just like the whole movie didn't make sense.
But those are there. If you want to look for them, those are there.
It's like the entire movie was plot holes, which again, I could forgive if I was entertained. I was bored out of my fucking mind. Like,
yeah, if I cared about any of these people, I would
yes.
might have been fine with the plot holes,
The
but I didn't care about anybody.
The only part I kinda liked, and kinda is like doing a lot of heavy lifting there, was like once they got to the news station in the end. But even that is a heavy kinda. Like,
it's like that, and so then
I didn't love it, but like that was the only part where I was like kind of entertained.
They're like blowing up the
Generators?
Power supply
Yeah.
for the entire street. It's just like, what?
And then it's like,
doesn't make sense. They would have
lucky
control of the power station.
Luckily, this glow stick can do exactly what's needed here. Lucky us, the glow stick is perfect for this.
I think we should wrap it up and say one positive thing about the movie.
Okay.
We do the SpongeBob like a few minutes later.
Look, I guess it's the things I already said, which is like I did think Emily Blunt was good in it. I thought her and Josh O'Connor did have chemistry, and I did like the car and the farmhouse and the train scenes.
Yeah, and I liked Coleman Domingo on the phone.
He was
I like Coleman Domingo in general.
Sure,
he's just so
it's
charming.
Like, he's just like a great presence, but he didn't have like that character was also pretty nothing.
That character pretty clearly an author insert, I think. For Steven Spielberg.
Somebody put a side by side, and they're like, he dressed Hugh like exactly like how he dresses.
And if you're gonna cast an author insert, I think Coleman Domingo is a great choice.
Oh yeah, you might as well cast like a really likable guy that everyone's just gonna see and be like, I like that guy.
I'd love to be depicted by Coleman Domingo. He's so charming.
The house, there were a couple times when they were building the house, and I think it was because of the yellow walls. I was like, backrooms ass house.
I know. Okay. I think we've done enough of a drive-by on this movie.
Do you think people are gonna get mad at us?
No, I think that, well, yes. I mean, listen, if talking about He-Man on the internet has taught me anything this week, it's that people are mad. But no, I mean, I trust our listeners to be cool and interested in opinions in any direction.
Yeah, I literally can't think of a single movie that like has annoyed me for days after like this movie has.
Like I was like taking a shower this morning and just like working myself up thinking about it. It was like,
no, this movie just
grumbling
pissed me off, like truly. Which is, it's so funny because I feel like this, aside from the Odyssey, like this was the big, highly anticipated like summer blockbuster.
Yeah, I was like looking forward to it all week. And
I hope that this is not like his last movie, like that he goes out on.
No, I hope not. I mean, he seems like he's in great health, so I think he'll be fine. I think he'll make another.
Yeah, he
should make other people's scripts.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like every time he makes like a Tony Kushner script, it's great.
Yeah.
Well, this was another guy's script.
But it was his story, and he did 42 drafts.
Yeah. No, it was his story.
42 drafts.
It's like maybe if you need 42 drafts, it's a flawed premise.
Listen, next week is going to be chaos. We're just covering the last 6 months of movies that we haven't touched on here. So
yeah. Because
buckle up, baby.
Oh wait, real quick, I wanted to ask, what do you think of aliens, like IRL?
To be honest, I don't think about them kind of at all. I'm sure they exist, and I'm sure we've had some kind of, someone somewhere has had some kind of contact with them. But who knows? I mean, I just like, it's something, my mom, who is, I'm confident is listening to this right now. Sorry, I talked about boomers so much. Is really into aliens, and I think she's been really asking me like, are we going to cover this movie? Really looking forward to it. So I was like raised in a very pro-alien lifestyle. But I just really don't think about them at all. Do you think about them at all?
I mean, I don't think about them a lot, but it's like, yeah, of course I think that there are aliens out there. I think there's many. I think there's probably an infinite amount of types of aliens out there, but I think they're too far for us to have any sort of contact. I don't even think they know about us necessarily. And I think
like
that
Project Hail Mary.
Yeah, I think
how Rocky was so far. Yeah.
Yes, and like honestly, like that, I think there's no possible way that they look like any sort of form or being that we could even comprehend. Like, even when someone gives them like 5 legs, I'm like, okay, but like, why do you even think they have like a head and eyes? So it's funny when it's like they have 2 arms, 2 legs, a torso, and 2 eyes. It's like they just look like a human who looks kind of funky. I'm like, how? Probably, maybe out there way fucking far, there happens to be another species that evolved just coincidentally in the same way we did, and they look like the same general sort of form. But I think most aliens are probably like mist or something. Like it's like some sort of form that we can't even like imagine.
Yeah, or like a bacteria or some kind of amoeba, some kind of cell, or who knows.
Yeah, and it's like maybe some of them are, I'm sure some of them are more advanced, but in what way? Is it with like computer technology, like all of our technology is? Maybe not. Maybe it's something totally different.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing, is that like what I feel about aliens is that I'm just sort of open to all.
Yeah.
all
I'm like
possibilities.
I'm
It's
100% certain they're out there, but I'm also 100% certain that it's like we can't. There's no way we could even guess anything about them.
Yeah.
Like their ships wouldn't be like a metal ship. Like that is one thing I liked about Arrival is the aliens in Arrival and their ship are just these like incomprehensible, you know, with they're like these like, and they're like 5D language and like all that stuff is like, you know, closer to what I think could
be. I think Arrival is a better version of this movie in a lot of ways.
Arrival is such a better alien movie. Honestly, Crystal Skull is a better alien movie.
Yeah, every Doctor Who episode is a better alien movie. So okay, hope you guys liked this.
Yeah, sorry this movie made us evil and we were just really negative for 1 hour 9 minutes, but well, you know, we're not always so nice. Like this. Well, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye. That was our episode on Disclosure Day. You know, apologies for disclosing our just absolute vitriol all over you for the past hour. But thank you so much for listening. And no hate to Steven Spielberg. I liked The Fabelmans. You can watch this video on YouTube or any of our episodes on YouTube. If you were just listening, you can follow us on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube. And if you like this show, like the best way to help us is to directly tell a friend, text a friend a link to this episode if your friend is a hater like us, or any other episode if you don't want to do that. So we will see you next week. Hopefully we'll be in better moods because Disclosure Day will have worn off of our souls and our spirits. So we'll see you then.
Medium Literate was created and produced by Monica Scott and Emily Faye. Our theme music was composed by Christian Larson, and technical help is from Alex Luchin. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you at the movies.